from Tarot Ingi, and today we're going to talk about Five of Swords. This card is a little bit more challenging. It's a card that speaks of defeat. It's a card for the bully and being bullied. This is a card that, when it's so much competition that it's winning at all costs, even if it means stabbing someone in the back, betraying a friend, it's more the darker side to a person. It's tension in this card. It's unhealthy competition, personal attacks, lies, bully, harming others, being harmed, being in trouble or blamed for something that you didn't do, unresolved conflicts, fighting about nothing. But sometimes if you get Five of Swords in the advice position, it can mean that you've had a lot of stress and maybe you've been put under a lot of pressure, but you're unable to defend yourself for whatever reason. So then this card then means you need to stand up for yourself. You need to fight back. If you get this card in others position in the Celtic cross, so that's the 8th position, it can mean a toxic person in your life that is bringing you down. This card, when it speaks of a situation, it is all the situations that make us feel weak, that makes us feel frightened, terrified. It's abusive relationships. If it is a love reading, and it can mean that it's you just feel insecure in this relationship. Maybe you're dating the wrong person. Maybe you're in a relationship where there's a bit of manipulation and mind games. Can even mean betrayal and abuse. It can mean that you're being there's bad things going on in the relationship. In a career reading, it can mean that there's a lot of unhappiness in career. Maybe there's a workplace bully. Maybe also someone is taking out the frustration on you, like you're dealing with difficult people all the time. If it speaks of a type of job, it can mean dealing with the bottom end of society, like being a police officer or social worker and dealing with the harsher realities of life. But it can also mean an investigator, especially if it's internally, within a company, damage control as well. It can also mean that it's army as well. But if it's a general situation in career, it means the seeker is unhappy in their job. They're not where they're thriving. Like, they're not going to thrive in this job. This is not going to take them anywhere. This is just going to create more pain. This is a sort of situation that the seeker will have to think very careful about, because this can create a lasting damage if you stay in this situation for too long. This is meant to teach you to find something that you're happy and excited about, not to stay in this situation. Because this is a sort of situation where that you would want revenge on somebody. Like, this is actually also a card for revenge. It's like something that made you so angry that you want to seek revenge on somebody. And if you're asking how someone is feeling about you, it could be that they want to hurt you. They don't, something has happened. And they're revengeful. Maybe they have revengeful thoughts about what they want to do to you. So this is someone who's very resentful, bitter, and brooding. So be careful around this person. When it's the seeker's feelings, it can mean that they're just angry and resentful and triggered constantly. And maybe this old anger that is firing up and it's creating difficult situations. Maybe they have revengeful thoughts. At heart of this situation, usually it's a feeling of not coping, not being able to handle the stress in their life. As a personality type, Five of Swords is someone who is a bully and a handful. And they are so competitive, they want to win at all costs, but they often enjoy as well to have control over others. They like to see other people fail. So they like to ruin lives. So this is someone who loves getting other people into trouble. They create drama, conflict. If they can sabotage someone, they will. And they are very uncomfortable to be around. You know, when you're around this type of person, it's not an easy ride. They live by the sword, they die by the sword, so to speak. They have a belief that they have to get to others before others can get to them. So they live in this battle in their mind constantly, where they have to win. They have to exert their power over others, because they feel if they don't, other people will rule over them, and that's what they are afraid of more than anything. They just want what they cannot have, and they're very jealous of other people's success. They can be very good at pretending to be a friend, but only to find out your weaknesses, so they can use your weaknesses against you. And your weaknesses can be your good heart. In their eyes, that's a weakness. Like, if you're a good heart, you want to be helpful, you want to be a good person, they'll use that against you. Five of Swords reverse basically mean that this type of behavior, this situation remains unresolved. So it just drags on and on and on. And maybe they're nice to your face, but they stab you right in the back. There's no resolution, there's no moving on from defeat or from the conflict. There are no winners. And the reason why there was an argument in the first place, that's lost a long time ago. So it doesn't even achieve anything. But a lot of times this card shows up reversed when the seeker is so afraid of conflict. They are so afraid of standing up for themselves that they avoid it at all costs. And that's why it's dragging on. That's why they're always in this battle, because they're unable to exert their boundary. And they're actually meant to stand up for themselves. They back off too quickly. So if you find yourself in this situation, find the healthiest way you can to stand up for yourself. Most likely it's going to be very simple. It's going to be the ability to say no, which you think is easy, but for a lot of people it's the hardest thing ever. And also people are terrified of thinking ill of others. So they think that they have to only think good things of others, even if it will be to their own demise. Five of Swords reversed as a personality type. It's someone who has a lot of inner conflict, anger, but they have so much fear about expressing how they feel, so they hide how they feel, and they often feel like everyone's against them. They have victim mentality. They feel defeated and hopeless, and there's lack of self-realization. There's actually their dreams that they are grieving. Their dreams didn't come true. They seem distant, and there is no happiness in day-to-day life. And they come across as very spineless and weak, but that's because they are so worn out on their own internal battles. And they often end up attracting a lot of disrespect and abuse. They need to find out who they are on a much more authentic level, because what they tend to do is to hide behind people who can defend them. So they kind of hide behind stronger people who they take advantage of because they need their protection, but on their own they're unable to handle themselves, and they basically need a group. But this has all to do with how they feel about themselves. If they had self-belief, they would be completely different people. As a yes and no, this tends to be more of a no due to the negativity. It attracts more trouble than anything else. Let's find out in the runes what the runes have got to say about these cards. It's always interesting doing oracle mixing, find out more. Often the core, what is at the core of each card. So let's see. So what I'm getting is, I'm getting Vunjo reversed at the bottom. Vunjo reversed is, again, it's Vunjo when it's upright. It's supposed to be a rune for happiness, but I find that it shows up a lot of times when someone is very strong-minded and very strong in their beliefs. But when it's reversed, it's like maybe they don't believe in themselves. So that's at the heart of it. The Notala is sort of pointing outwards. It's like maybe they haven't really found their place in the world. Maybe they don't know what their values are. Then it's the need. So basically with the runes, the higher up the runes go, the more up basically that symbolizes what's at the surface in the consciousness. So this is like way below in the subconscious. Then it's Otala just above it. So that's what's more at the surface. Then it's need or notice. So that's like they're relying a lot on improvising on luck, but everything feels a little bit uncertain. And then right at the top we get Lagus reverse. So that's Lagus is meant to when someone is in the flow, and it is actually a rune for dreams as well. But when it's reversed, it's almost like they're unable to access their emotions and inability to access dreams. So it can mean that the environment actually is so hostile that the seeker is under so much stress and unable to access their feelings. They're unable to access their needs. Like they're not even. They're living very much on the surface, just surviving, reacting to everything. When Lagus is upright, that's when it's easy to be in the flow. You're connected to your feelings. You're able to respond, not react. But what I think with this, because the runes really fell with like a line. What I think with this is that the runes are trying to tell me that with Five of Swords, it really is that the person is so disconnected from their feelings and from their subconscious and from their own intuition and their own needs and wants, that they just end up reacting to everything, and everything becomes a battle. Nothing becomes easy, and they're unable to live in the flow of their life. They can't work with flow. They're just stumbling and struggling with everything in their life, and everything becomes a major battle. So if you get Five of Swords in your life and it's showing up and it's a difficult situation, maybe you're asking about a future situation, maybe you're asking how will this play itself out, and you get Five of Swords, then it basically means that situation will be disconnecting you to your own needs and wants. And if you stay in that situation, you end up not even recognizing yourself. It's a hostile situation to you as a person, and that you deserve much better than that, obviously. I mean, everything is a lesson and everything, but I believe it can grow much more through joy, So that's a situation that's only create unhappiness rather than joy in the seeker, and that's Five of Swords. Next card I'm going to talk about is Six of Swords.